Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. I'm here at the NEC Toy Fair, probably my favourite event in the entire collecting calendar. We've just got here bright and early entry. As you can see, a lot of people are still setting up, but it looks like there's a lot of stalls here. Hopefully we're going to find some cool stuff, hopefully some games. So, yeah man, as always, I always like to fly around and do a quick lap first, just to see if there's anything like immediate on show that I don't want to miss, and then we'll start doing a few slow laps and start digging through all the boxes. So yeah, let's do it.
Got what on them?
These are all like priced.
Individually priced, yeah. I appreciate that, mate. Thanks a lot. How much did you say all these ones are?
These ones are £10 each or 2 for 15.
Okay, mate, so. Oh, nice, mate. Wow.
That's the old store. That one's open.
Oh, check you out. Careful, mate. Oh, that's good to see, isn't it? You don't see these very often.
Nope.
How much you got on this?
I want at least 150 for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But because I know you.
You know me?
From YouTube. Don't worry.
You know how cheap I am.
I can make you a deal, don't worry. Yeah.
There's more. So what's this? Cards?
Yeah. The one with virtually like the cards and stuff. Pokemon.
Yeah. All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Then you got some loose carts.
Yeah.
You got all the good stuff in here, mate.
No. No, as good as yours, I'm afraid. And it's more like
more loose carts in there.
Game Boy and
yeah.
Game Boy event.
Nice one, mate. Oh, and you got the Capcom fighter stick down here.
Oh yeah.
They look cool, don't they? But they're just,
you know what?
It's good to look at. I don't use it.
Okay, so just a couple of rows in and I'd made my first purchases of the event. But before we look at that, I just want to discuss this year's entry and the pricing to get in. So for early entry, which gets you in at 8 o'clock in the morning, it was £18. Now that's a lot of money. There was still a decent sized queue waiting to get in when I got there at pretty much bang on 8 o'clock. So it clearly hadn't deterred too many people. And I'm well aware you don't have to go in at 8. You can wait till 10:30 and I think it's £10 if you go in at 10:30 at 2.5 hours later. Is it worth paying £18 entry or the additional £8? Well, that's something that we'll look at the end of the video once we've sort of assessed the day and everything that I picked up. But like I say, it didn't take me long to make my first purchases of the day. Now, you've just seen the gentleman who had that stall. He had some real nice bits, some graded stuff, and he was selling some games very, very cheap. And I picked up some of them Switch games because, yeah, they were just too good price not to pick up. The first one is Hot Wheels Unleashed. This is a 2021 racer developed by Milestone, and if you're watching the vlogs, you will have seen that I recently picked this up. I picked up that real nice collector's edition of this that comes with the Mattel Hot Wheels car inside it. Now, sadly, I picked it up and it's an Xbox Series S/X. I don't know, I get very confused with current Xbox names. So I can't actually play it. I thought it was one that I could play on my Xbox One, but I couldn't. I will pick one of them consoles up one day, so right now it's sat on the shelf in a purgatory state. But grabbing this one meant that I can actually try this game out on my Nintendo Switch. And yeah, you guys know I've got a big focus on the Nintendo Switch, largely because it's arguably the best console ever made in my opinion, and also because I love the red spines and I love how little space they take up on the shelf. So yeah, it's definitely future-proof collecting by going down the Nintendo Switch route, that's for sure. But I didn't rest at just one. I also picked up this one. This is a title which has intrigued me ever since its release. And that is SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. This is a 2018 Abstraction Games developed fighter, and it's a 2 versus 2 tag team gameplay system, but done with like an attacker and a support system. So you've got one main fighter and a supporting character that will assist you with special moves, etc. Very similar to Rival Schools in the way in which they do the 2 versus 2 that I picked up recently. This one's an all-female cast, and it includes previously male characters now in female form. So a real interesting take on the SNK franchises, and yeah, one that I'm intrigued to play. You guys know that I love my fighters, so I couldn't say no. They did me such a fantastic deal. I picked both of these up for £13. Now, that is, yeah, very, very good when it comes to Nintendo Switch prices. If to buy these at CX, it cost you £37. So, although I've already mentioned about how much it costs to get into this event, you could argue that I've already saved that in picking these up to begin the day. So, yeah, a great start to the day. Once again, I want to give a massive shout out to that seller, but I definitely got caught slipping. When you go to these events, and especially when you first get in, it can be overwhelming. There's so many things going on. You're talking to so many different people. You're negotiating. I'm trying to film at the same time, and there's definitely a couple I overlooked. I should 100% have picked up the Lion King, Aladdin, and Jungle Book triple pack. But yeah, missed out on that one. But happy with what I did get. And if you're watching, you told me you're a fan of the channel. Massive thanks to you once again for the good deal, sir. And yeah, let's carry on with the hunt. So I'm sniffing around the games, and I bumped into the legend himself.
Hello there.
How are you, Gav?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm coming to your shop very soon.
You really must.
I've got plans to get down there.
Nuneaton is a proper gaming hunting ground.
Yeah? I'm coming. I've got plans to come with my friend Kev very soon, so we'll see
awesome.
you.
Yeah, it'd be good to see you there.
Now obviously, me being me, even when I go to a toy fair, I'm primarily focused on video games. But if I'm going to come away from any event with something which isn't a video game, a toy, or some sort of random piece, then it has to be at a toy fair. And I did pick up a couple of nice pieces. This first one is just pure nostalgia overload. So I went to a store that had some real nice VHS. I don't collect VHS. I just want to clarify. I feel it's important at this point to clarify I don't collect VHS. But this one really pulled me in. This is something that I had as a child, and as soon as I saw it, I just got flooded with nostalgia and like some of the imagery from this VHS, and that is Hulkamania forever. Now, I'm older now, so I view Hulk Hogan very differently as a nearly 40-year-old male to what I did as a child, right? As a child, Hulkamania, I am a real American. I remember being so hyped by everything. I was real like intoxicated by that whole American dream and the Hulk Hogan, you know, say your prayers, take your vitamins and all that. Like I say, a few years later, we know very differently about good old Terry, but this just stays with me, man. I remember as a kid being like heartbroken, watching the footage on here of Earthquake sitting on Hulk's chest, breaking his ribs, meaning that he had to have a break. I think in reality he was just off filming Suburban Commando, but that's not the point. Back in 1990, when this was released, I was only 3, so I probably watched it a couple of years later. I was probably around 5, 6. But yeah, just pure nostalgia. We only had a couple of VHS as a kid, so you know what it's like, guys. You watched them on repeat, and this was definitely on repeat in my family's VHS player. And I'm going to put it on soon for little man, just so I can like relive it and yeah, just go down that nostalgia rabbit hole and going to the premier toy event of the country. I had to leave with some kind of toy, right? Now, you guys may know I'm currently in the process of building a Lego army, so it's kind of an ancient Greek stroke Roman hybrid. It makes no historical sense whatsoever, but it's just all the things that I'm interested in. And sadly, I didn't see any sort of like Greeks or Romans to join my quote-unquote good guys. But what I did come across was a Minotaur. So I always love adding these. There's Minotaurs, Cyclops, Medusas, anything that I can simply put into like the bad guy category. Because one day I want to sort of set up a big battle scene. I want to dedicate a whole Billy Bookcase shelf to a whole battle reenactment. Hopefully have some like buildings and forts. And I've got real big plans for it. But it's one of them things that becomes very expensive very quickly. If you're going to do Lego army building, if you're going to go down the eBay route or trying to do it quickly, it's going to cost you a lot of money. The best way to do it, I think, is just to see them as and when you're out and about. If you go to toy fairs and game fairs, you see the odd one sitting around for a decent price. This one cost me just £4, and that's where I'm at. If I can get one for £5 or less, I'm delighted with that, and just add a few to my collection every sort of year as we progress with this army build. And I think I'm going to do something with these guys. So if you look at my current setup with the Lego army, you can't really see the bad guys because of how small the shelf gap is. That secondary row is kind of hidden by the front row. But I do have another gap below the Wii games. So what I think I'm going to do on the vlog real soon is probably take the bad guys, put them on their own shelf, and then I'll have like a good guy shelf and a bad guy shelf. And as I say, ultimately, we will amalgamate the two and have a big battle scene going on. But until then, I just want to line them up and have them on a nice display here in the 3.0. But yeah, really happy with the couple of knickknacks that I bought, but let's get back to hunting for some video games, shall we? Retro Ghetto. Somebody told me that there's some boxed Super Nintendo somewhere around here, so I've worked my way back to the start, and now like a bloodhound, trying to sniff out the SNES games.
Yeah,
Let's see if I can find them. So, whilst on the hunt for these Super Nintendo games, I have found a Mega Drive game, so that's a nice Brucey bonus, but it's still not boxed Super Nintendo, is it? So, the hunt goes on. Unless I've been pranked. So I got distracted many times whilst hunting for these fabled Super Nintendo games, and one of the distractions was Mega Drive, which is a good distraction, right? Any 16-bit distraction is all good in my books. And one of the games that caught my eye that I don't already own, on that system at least, was Dragon: The Bruce Lee Story. This is a 1994 Virgin Interactive developed fighter, and it's based on the 1993 semi-fictionalized Bruce Lee biographical movie, and I'm a big Bruce Lee fan, but as a kid, this was actually my gateway. My entry to Bruce Lee and his movies was actually through the Dragon story, so like, not even Bruce, just somebody playing Bruce, I guess. But yeah, I remember watching that as a kid and just being like enamored by like the fight scenes and everything. And from there, obviously, I went on down the sort of Bruce Lee journey. I'm now a big fan of the majority of his films. But yeah, this movie definitely holds a place in my heart, and therefore the game too. I do actually already own the game on the Super Nintendo, but you guys, like I've said many times before, if it's Super Nintendo or Mega Drive, I don't mind double dipping. I'll buy any game that I can get my hands on for a decent price for this system. Speaking of whether it was a decent price or not, it says £15 on it. I've got this for £10. I wasn't able to check on CEX because, bizarrely, this isn't on the CEX on either Mega Drive or Super Nintendo. I've got no idea why. It is on the CEX database being stocked for the Master System, the Game Gear, even the Atari Jaguar. So I don't know why it doesn't show on the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, but hey ho, there you go. But checking on eBay, it seems to sell anywhere from £15 to £20, so I'm pretty happy with the deal I got, and this was quite well received at the time. Mega gave it 89%, Games Master gave it as high as 90%. There were some critics, some people said it was quite slow, and it was criticised for coming out too late. It came out well over a year after the movie was released, so some of that hype had already died down, but yeah, I mean, just look at that artwork. Absolutely iconic. I've got a lot of like iconic movie artwork cover displays from my Mega Drive wall, and yeah, for me, these are pieces of art, which is why I love to have these systems forward facing, and this is well deserving of its place on the Mega Drive wall. But let's get back to the hunt for Super Nintendo.
Well, I'm still on this wild goose chase looking for these boxed SNES games. But yeah, I'm not going to give up. When you get a lead like that, you keep going. I think we found the SNES games. Got. Don't have this variant, but I don't need to be paying that for that variant. Cool to see though.
Little limp around, yeah.
Ah, so you've already beat me to it then.
Only on there.
I've already got it, mate. It's alright. How much did you pay for that?
Good.
That's not bad. Nice and decent condition, that.
It's alright.
Yeah.
A little bit of fluff.
There's a couple of Asterix games. The second one's a little bit harder to find, isn't it?
Not one you see every day.
No, it's not. It's a good game as well. Good game,
Same
though.
guy bought that off had Ren and Stimpy videos on the SNES as well.
Where? Where am I looking, man?
It's
Tell
not
me.
the best condition.
It's alright.
It's about 3 rows that way towards this end.
3 rows that way.
Mostly like a big sort of set of the trains. and
Yeah.
And then just a little stack of Nintendo on
See, I
the
came here on a tip. Someone said Super Nintendo game, so I shot down here. So now my SNES journey's taking me this way. I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you.
How much did you sell it for, if you don't mind me asking? 55. Sounds like I missed out then, mate. Can I have a look at the Metal Gear Solid on the Xbox 360, mate? It's the last one there. Yeah. Thank you, mate. And right, well, I finally found the guy. I missed out. So I heard there was a rumour that this guy had Ren and Stimpy, I think it's called Vidiots or something. A game I don't own, but sadly he's already sold it. I always get distracted, I end up talking to too many people. But yeah, it's part of the fun in it. So yeah, let's go and do a proper lap now and see what we can find. How are you, mate? I should have known it was you. I thought I recognised that gun. That's a strange thing to say to somebody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Hey, man, you good, you good?
how are you both?
Very well, thank you. I'm glad there's no tension today.
Not on camera, off camera.
okay.
I've got an image to uphold.
He's only 10,
But
it's pretty sweet.
good pickup that is, mate.
Yeah, like,
So what is it like from
the guy said he got it from like a retro store.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's just a like a banner or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can tell it's still got a little bit of
Yeah, nice.
Pretty
Always
for,
good
like,
to see that,
home-
mate.
Home stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You were just telling me how much room you had, weren't you?
Absolutely, the nibbler thing that came in as well.
It's absolutely maverick. Not even using the purposely built handles.
Yeah, mate, I'm like hardcore. Yeah. Always good to see the toy division, guys. I'm sort of doing my last lap now. I'm having a gentle stroll around, seeing if I've missed anything the first time around. It's about 45 minutes till general entry. I'm trying to get in and out before that happens, but it's still, easy enough to get to stores and film. I've got some real good stuff, some nice games. So yeah, fly around one more time, and then we'll get back to the 3.0 and take a look at everything I bought. Sadly, there was no Super Nintendo Gold at the end of the rainbow. I did many laps on that sort of rough geographical area of this event, trying to hunt down these fabled Super Nintendo games. Apparently someone told me there's a Ren and Stimpy Vidiots game. Now, I don't even know if that actually got a PAL release, so I don't know if I did miss out or not. I need to do some research. It might have been an NTSC game. I'm sort of hoping that was the case. Make me feel a bit better about missing out on it. But the guy that I did eventually track down did have some video games, and he did sell me one that I needed for my collection. So as well as Nintendo Switch, and of course the full sets that I'm currently going for, big focus of mine is PlayStation. And this was one that I needed, a glaring omission from my collection, and that is Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. Known as Ripto's Rage outside of PAL regions, it's a 1999 Insomniac Games developed 3D platformer. So a few years after the defeat to Nasty Nork, Spyro and his Dragonfly partner Sparks mistakenly end up in Glimmer, ruled by an iron-fisted warlock known as Ripto. Spyro must travel through various realms to free Glimmer from this tyrant. This one was very well received. IGN gave this 8.8, GameSpot 8.6, and this game would go on to sell 3.5 million units, which is no surprise given how beloved the first one was. I've said many times before how as a child during this PlayStation 1 era, I absolutely loved 3D platformers. I loved Spyro, I loved Gex in particular, Crash Bandicoot. I recently learned about the Croc series, which is one that passed me by as a child. So yeah, it just felt like I had to have Spyro 2 to go alongside Spyro. I'm still missing the third release, that is Year of the Dragon, I believe. And this is £15 at CEX. I paid £12 for it. I was happy with that. A nice addition to the PlayStation wall. Okay, so I said at the start of this episode, was it worth the £18 entry fee? Well, it certainly would have been had I come away with that Mega Drive Street Fighter edition. I mean, I've never seen that thing before. I'm no console collector. I don't have the space. I used to have quite a sizable console collection. I sold it all because I couldn't display it. But wow, that thing is phenomenal. And I'm not going to lie, I've come away a little bit sad that I didn't come home with it. But I think it was about £450, which I'm not surprised because I've never seen one before. And it was in fantastic condition. It's part of the Unit 3 collectibles. Those guys, I think they're based in Wolverhampton. Man, maybe one day, right? Because yeah, I've been thinking about that thing ever since I came home. But fantastic Mega Drive consoles aside, was it worth £18? For me personally, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier on when we first started looking at my pickups, I probably saved that in my first 2 Switch purchases. But not only that, when you're filming, it's massively advantageous to get there early because you can actually film the stores. You can actually see the things that are there. Judging by how big the queue was when I left at 10:30, it would have been very difficult to do that and see all the things that I saw and was able to film for you guys had I gone in on the sort of like general admission. Also, it's very much a sociable thing going to these events. I got to catch up with the great and the good of the toy world, and the NEC is where I always get to catch up and, you know, familiarise with the people that I really enjoy within that community. So absolutely worth it for me. But I do think, looking at the size of that queue at 10:30, that maybe a lot of people thought I'm going to go in a little bit later. And I'd like to point out that these toy fairs and toy collectors is very different from game fairs and game collectors. I think because with video games, most people tend to agree on what good games are or aren't. There's very much a list price. Everybody knows what games are rare, what games are expensive. So therefore, if you go to these events and you see something rare, people get it straight away. If you see something underpriced, it goes straight away. Whereas toy fairs is very different. There's so many variables in what people collect. Some people are going for Star Wars, some people are going for Lego, some people are going for trains and cars, and yeah, such a broad spectrum of things that people are hunting that you can go in 2.5 hours later than other people and still find the things that you want. And I love that about toy fairs, because you never know what you're going to find. And it's kind of always like a lottery. And I always say that comparative to video game fairs, I always go into toy fairs thinking, what am I going to come home with? Because you never know what you're going to find, right? And this was the beginning of what is a crazy month. I'm going to 3 or 4 conventions, all being well, in the month of October. And not only that, this week I'm heading finally to Kev's. We're going to be filming Kev's brand new game room. I've seen some sneak peeks of it and wow. Yeah, I'm going to say no more. We'll let the video do the talking when it drops in the next week or so, but make sure you keep it locked to the channel. Do not miss that one. All that's left to say is a massive thank you for everybody for taking the time to watch. It's much appreciated. Play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you real soon. Take care.
Hey, it's Retro Geek Out, and you're watching Retro Ghetto.
Lock into the Retro Ghetto.